I don't know why I get so tense. Or why when I talk, I feel like I can't talk in a relaxed manner. They say when you sing, your tongue is just supposed to hang and like flop around. But my tongue is literally just like... And so I think that's part of what happens when like my jaw doesn't move, you know? Because like partially my tongue just doesn't float there. Nah, I don't know how to use my mouth. I'm relearning. That's why I'm taking vocal lessons.
Tiffany Luis. I'm calling because we have some pieces at the student, so I'm not sure if it's gonna for you or not, but you can just come and look when you have time. So I got like maybe 8 pieces, just coming in small pieces, one tall one, twisted, and chest across. I know you told me you want any colors, but this color is like brown. So when you have time, just give me a call or you can just come to the spot, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that was the guy. That was my furniture guy. Yeah, I have a furniture guy. If you're looking for furniture, he is the best. But he just called. That was who called on my last Friday downloads. He's telling me that he got some new pieces in. He know my style. Also, I had some furniture delivered yesterday. I think shopping for furniture is like one of my new favorite things. And interior decorating is like one of my new favorite hobbies other than like skincare and beauty and makeup. But the guys came in to deliver and they're like, yo, what do you do? And I was like, I own my own business. I sell stuff or whatever. I said, I don't know. I'm a business. I'm not a business, bitch. I'm a business, bitch. That didn't work. But anyways, they're like, oh, what do you do? Interior decorating? And I was like, I'm so flattered. But no. So, all right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Friday Daily Downloads. This is where I take notes on things that come into my brain. I put them on my phone and then I recap them on Fridays. And I call it Friday Daily Downloads. And I call it a daily download because it's just a thought. It feels like a download to me. That's why I call it a daily download. Some days go by where I don't have any, but they're all right here. I have a single folder for it. Let's start with this thing. All right, here's the first one. There's nothing that forces you to appreciate contrast as much as living in New York. Thank you, NYC. I don't know what was happening around this time, but I really actually think I chase winters. No joke. I work in Australia when it's cold. I work in New York when it's cold, and I hardly ever get to experience summer unless I'm on vacay. And I think I've just never loved the heat so much. And New York is a place of contrast. It's a place of extremes. And it's kind of like how people say there would be no happiness without sadness. It would just all be the same. So the dark side kind of gives us the light. It makes us appreciate the light. And having the light or the happiness or the joy or the summer, so if we want to just make a direct correlation, kind of also makes us appreciate the winter or the dark times, because without those, we wouldn't really know what warmth felt like. And I don't know, like life would just be kind of boring, don't you think? So, New York City has a tendency of pulling the extremes out. Extreme joys, extreme depressions, extreme weather, extreme people, all of the things. So New York is just a really special place in that sense. It's a contrast. It's extreme, but without those contrasts, life would be kind of boring. So thank you, NYC. Here is number 2. If you don't maintain the new neural pathways, they'll recede. I have no idea where this came from, but I do develop new neural pathways pretty often. It's because I like to change my habits. And more importantly, I like to change my bad habits or the habits that don't serve me or no longer serve me. And when you do that, you create new neural pathways for the new habits. And the best way to break an old habit is to just start a new one, and also to develop awareness so you know when you're doing your bad habit. For me, I like to do 40 days of extreme, I call it rehabilitation, or I was just about to call it rehabilitation. So I'll do 40 days solid of something, and that develops a new habit. I've heard 21, I've heard 30, but I like to take it even further and do 40 because I realize that after 40 days of doing something, I intuitively know when to use that tool, if that makes sense. Once you do, so 21 days is bare minimum, but it's not enough to create very strong neural pathways. So if you stop after 21 days, if you stop a new habit after 21 days, you'll have less success as if you went 30 days. And for me, if I go 40 days is my personal sweet spot because it kind of like solidifies everything enough for me to let it go and then to be able to use my intuition in figuring out at what time I need to use that new habit. To me, habits are skills, tools, if you will. So for example, today when I was meditating, I went back to a meditation that I used to do for 40 days. And I don't remember what that is right now, but it was like something kicked in and my intuition said, this is the meditation you need to use today. So that's what I did. And it happened automatically. So once those neural pathways are there, especially with the 40-day thing, the intuition kind of just knows when to use it. So anyways, there we go. On to the next. Whew. Entrepreneurship is like walking 10 city blocks during a brutal heat wave. Walk slow, stick to the shaded side, take a lot of breaks, and move when you're ready. I don't know what this all means, but let me try to decode it. I think I know exactly when I wrote this. I was walking down 10 city blocks in a heat wave, and it was outrageous. It was so hot, but that's what I did. I walked slow. I stuck to the shaded side. I did take a lot of breaks. Like I stopped for water, for beverage or whatever, and move when you're ready. So I guess this all means that walk slow. So a lot of people think like, oh, I have to be first, or I have to do this. This is my idea and this is a blue ocean. I'm not going to have competitors. But in reality, like life doesn't happen like that. You're only in competition with yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Of course you want to start making money, but everything happens in its own time. That's what I mean by walk slow. Sometimes you need to do years of research before you launch something. And so it's all kind of just, I like to play the long and slow game. That's why I don't mind like not running down the street in a heat wave. It's like that's going to cause more harm than good. The other thing, stick to the shaded side. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I meant by that when I wrote it, but what it means to me now is like sometimes you just need to take the easy road or the easy route. Life's hard enough. Don't like go with the path of least resistance. Sometimes walking in the sun may get you there faster because like it's on that side of the street, but you might get sunburned and like extra sweaty in the process. And how I can relate that to business is sometimes you want to get from point A to point B, like you need to make a step and you have it in your head or on Google Maps how you're going to get there. But you listen to yourself and you say, okay, how can I find a different route? Maybe it might take longer, it might take the same amount of time, but it'll be more comfortable. So maybe just walking in the sun isn't comfortable, but it'll get you there faster. And so maybe, and by comfortable, I mean like being comfortable isn't always the greatest thing, but in business, it's like, here's an example. Also my housemate and the person who lived here before me put up these like shelves in the living room that obviously like one, they looked terrible, and two, like they couldn't put the shelves. They wanted to like, they stacked like a bunch of books, like heavy stuff on them, not just like decorative shelves, you know? And there's brick behind this wall and they really wanted to get these shelves up. And so they bought some cheap ass brackets and some cheap ass wood, just wood, like from Home Depot. And they put up these shelves, but can't get them out because they use like these long masonry screws and they're stuck in the brick. And it's like those shelves should have, and I was like, how did this happen? Like, why did you put them in there? And they were like, well, we just had to because we had to force them in. And it was really, really, really hard. Like it really took a long time and it was so hard. And I was just like, if something is that hard, you probably don't need to be doing it. Like there's probably a better way. And you just need to take a little bit of time to think about it or take some time away from it and go see how somebody else did it, maybe in a different industry or whatever. So anyways, that was a long rant, but sometimes you need to take breaks. Sometimes you need to go see things that are outside of yourself, outside of this thing that you're working on. Sometimes you get lost in the muck of it and you can't see clearly. You can't see the end road. And so you need to go on vacation or you need to go to a museum instead of working. Like you're an entrepreneur, you set your own hours. Why do you need to be doing things chronologically? Sometimes chronological work doesn't make sense. Sometimes going to Sephora for a beauty lesson in the middle of the day will be just enough of a break that you need to think differently, to open your mind, to view some products that may work on Amazon, maybe that you can make better. So anyways, take a lot of breaks. Why not? Life's too short. What are you going to kill yourself over anyways? What is it? Move when you're ready. A lot of people have difficulty with timing. Sometimes if you have difficulty with timing, you need to do a lot of things, make a lot of actions, make a lot of moves in order to know what feels like good timing and what doesn't. But a lot of times in entrepreneurship, especially now in the stage that I'm in, is I'm used to forcing things to happen. At a younger age, I would have forced the screws into the wall too. But now that I can see how everything works in its own time, I know when to use that willpower to make things happen. And usually it involves only me. I have to will myself to do something. If I have to force someone else to do something, then I know it's not good. But move when ready. That's kind of like, you always know. If you've seen as many cycles of your life as I have, you always know that at some point you're going to start moving again. So if you're afraid to take that next step, maybe you have to wait so long that you can't stand waiting anymore. And then you make a move and everything falls together. It's like that decision that needs to be made in order for everything else to fall in place. But if you take a move, if you take a step when you're not ready, you feel like it's not the right thing, then you're overextending yourself and maybe it will be unsuccessful. Here's number 4. Life is a locker room. If you're afraid to strip and change clothes, you'll never make it to the fun part, which is the transformation. What do you do when you're in a locker room? You're probably at the gym. What are you at the gym for? To transform your body. So sometimes in order to transform, you have to take off your clothes. And in this metaphorical parallel, your clothes might be your old beliefs, your old habits, your old mindset, your old way of doing things. And by stripping yourself of all of those conditionings and expectations, you make space for something new. And newness always brings about transformation. So if you're one of those people who doesn't like to get naked in a fucking locker room, then get over it, because it's the only way to transform your body. Anyways, it's not the only way. There's diet and stuff like that, but you get what I mean, right? Number 5, this is the last one for today, and it says patience is desire building. So what does that mean? Things don't happen in our lives without a very strong desire for them to happen. A lot of people say this. It's law of attraction, but energy moves from emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. Part of that emotion, the movement of energy, is a desire, is like a command, is a longing for that to come. And when things happen in our lives, it requires us to launch, Abraham Hicks says this a lot, launch rockets of desire. I'm not going to say that exactly, but it's true that some events in our lives are to make us want something else for ourselves. It's the universe kind of putting something in our life that makes us want something else. For example, if you're going through a difficult time in your relationship, it makes you want to have a better relationship. And so what does a better relationship look like? It may look like more fluent communication. It may look like more time spent together. It may look like buying a house together, moving in together, or whatever. But without being unhappy, you would never know what it is that you want that would make you happy. And so the same thing with patience. Patience is desire building. So when things don't happen for you and you want them to happen, you're like walking the line between being patient and also it's igniting this like fire of desire. So you're waiting for something to happen. And at first you're cool with it not happening, right? You're like, all right, cool. I know it's going to come, whatever. It's going to come soon. And then the more it doesn't come, usually you go into like frustration, or usually having to have patience makes you want the thing a lot more than you already wanted it. And so without the universe just giving it to you, it's like you're building up desire to have the thing that you want, and desire is a thing that's going to bring it to you. Now there's like a whole, if you desire something and you're also afraid that you're not going to get it, then you kind of push it away. But for me at this point, I just like to focus on what it is that I really desire, and then I kind of like make steps to take it. And I did notice that the longer I have to wait for something, the more I want it. It's like, you just want it. You want it so bad. And if you didn't have pressure to want something, you wouldn't get anything. Like, not having something makes you want to fight for something. It makes you want to desire. Like, I don't know, if everything was just given to you, life again would just be very blah. It would be boring. And so waiting for stuff makes you desire it more. And that desire that builds once you get it, it's like that much more of a relief, or it's like better when you do get it. Because have you ever wanted something and then got it right away and you're like, that didn't give me as much gratification as I was hoping for? It's because you didn't let the desire build. You didn't use it as like a reward. The whole thing about instant gratification is it doesn't last very long, right? So the longer you wait, the more you want, the better it feels when you get it. Anyways, that is it for Friday daily downloads. I'm going to call it Friday's double D's. Maybe not. Anyways, comments, questions below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've said. Stay tuned for next Friday double D daily download episode. You can stay tuned in on our YouTube channel, Posh Incredible. That's where I do sort of like a TIFF TV type thing, even though it's very podcast-esque at the moment. A lot of the weird things I do is just to keep my video editor from shooting his brains out. Okay, that was just totally uncalled for. I feel like too many people are shooting their brains out these days, so maybe I should say something like, keep Jose from, I can't think of anything that's not morbid. We're just gonna go with shooting his brains out. Anyways, all right, cool. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Love to hear from you. And also, I am in Australia about once every quarter. I just hang out there. I work like almost sort of like a digital nomad. I'm usually in Melbourne, but I'm pretty mobile. So if you guys want to do like a meetup or something, let me know. Let me know if there are any Australians out there listening to this. I would love to do like an events sort of meetup type thing. And get to know you. All right, cool. Thanks, guys, and peace out. Have a good weekend. Friday, double D town. What up? I'm just throwing up gang signs. All right. Peace.